Hello, I'm Chad,
I'm Jake.
and we're here doing another video. This one, we will be kind of serious, but we also have we will be funny, but we will also be serious as well. You want to tell them our subject, or shall I?
You can.
Our subject for this video is going to be the fact that our country has been trying to change our history to make...
This is a bit odd.
What?
We're looking up here, where it's actually down here.
No, I don't know.
It's like we're looking over here. Outside.
Well, I'm just looking at me, so that's what I'm looking at. But, so, our subject will be how our government has been trying to change what our history is in this country, not teaching the entire thing. So, if you don't hear from us for like 3 months, you can probably guess the government's trying to keep us quiet somewhere.
It's not going to work. I don't shut up for nobody.
I'll just fart and they'll disintegrate. It's what I'm good at. But anyways...
The government shouldn't keep us quiet.
No, they shouldn't. They should actually be held accountable. Which is one reason this is what we're going to talk about.
That's why in the Constitution it says, we the people.
Yeah, yep, it does. We the people, not we the government.
Us as a people, we have the actual power.
Yeah. You know,
the government can't do anything without our signatures.
The government should be more afraid of its people than the people of its government. Because the only rule, the only power the government should have is the power to secure our freedoms, not to dictate what we're allowed to do and say.
You know what I thought was funny last night? It's kind of getting the news on people. But Democratic debate.
I hate them.
I was watching that. I was like, I would slap pretty much every one of them. Except for one woman. She was nice. She served in the country. She wanted to do the right thing in the whole debate.
Yeah.
That was the only person I agreed with. Everybody else, I was like, no.
Yeah.
They just were all over the place. Like global warming.
I know.
That's just a bunch of bullcrap. We've had that happening for a long time. Yeah. It's just melting away. That's normal. It always comes back.
And people will actually try and use on me, separation of church and state, separation of church and state. Well, here, I actually looked up what, for one, separation of church and state is not found in the U.S. Constitution anywhere. So, before you go and use that as an argument, you might want to keep that in mind, that it is not stated anywhere in the Constitution. And what that actually means is that the state does not have the right to make any law that infringes on religious practices, not the other way around. So, before you go and start saying that, just keep those in mind.
Always have your reference material on hand.
Exactly, always. And the other thing that is
Otherwise you just make yourself look stupid.
Yeah. The other thing that has gotten me so annoyed with this entire thing, I'm sure there are people out there who have this book. I don't know. If I buy it, it will probably be to use as fire food. The book is The Godless Constitution. And here's what really gets me about that book. Now, I will get passionate here. I'm sorry. This is something that gets me riled up.
This entire nation was built on faith.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing that really gets me about the godless Constitution is in the back of a book where you are supposed to cite where you get your info. That's normal. You cite it and you give the areas so other people can go and read and hopefully come to the same conclusion.
Make sure it's true too.
Yeah, make sure it's true. These two professors, as far as I'm aware of, in the back of the book said we're going against the normally scholarly practice of citing our information. So you're telling me you're not scholars then, because you're not doing what scholars would do to prove a point. You're telling me I have to take your word for it. That's not gonna fly. So, and two, you just look at our history. People will say, oh, all our founding fathers were atheists and deists.
Bullcrap.
Wrong.
Abraham Lincoln was a man of faith.
Yeah, some of them were.
I'm related to him.
I mean, if I Googled right now,
and I'm a Christian Muslim,
how many founding fathers held positions in churches, what do you think the answer I'll get back will be? Actually, why not? Why don't I prove it? I'll Google
have to say at least
how many founding fathers,
if not most,
went to church. So I typed in, and you can see how many founding, well, hopefully it's probably very grainy, but I typed in how many founding fathers went to church.
I think I can ask Google.
And let's see.
Google, say.
I'm looking it up right now. The other thing
how many founding fathers went to church? No, boy.
No.
How many founding fathers went to church? And it just gave me a list of stuff. Why doesn't it tell me?
Yeah.
Tell me, Google.
I
founding
mean,
fathers, deism, Christian, founding fathers, deism, Christians, for some time, the question, nevertheless, people like to go to church than influenced by deism. Okay.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
They'd be more likely to go to church than be deism, whatever that is.
And
what is that?
I have no idea. I should look into it. I should.
Written by David L. Holmes.
I mean, here's another fact. It is fact that when, our founding fathers were having a meeting and they weren't getting anywhere, they'd usually go to a church, worship, and pray. It's pray.
In the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Okay.
So if you guys want to look it up, it's there.
Yeah. But, I mean, just look at our money. It says, in God we trust. In God we trust is on our money. That was not put there by mistake. Our founding fathers had to agree to put that there for it to show up anywhere on our money. That's not something that can just accidentally be put on money. That has to be agreed upon. Two, well, I believe our Constitution or Declaration, the first line, is it our Constitution that has "We the People"?
Yeah, we the
people.
The Declaration of Independence.
Okay. Let's look this up. So, you can do what we're doing too and look this up yourself. We're not just coming out with random facts. Okay, it's probably a constitution, but one of them says
It's like
that we believe all people are created equal, endowed by their creator.
Declaration.
Now, the word I want to emphasize is creator, not creators, creator, being singular, meaning they believed, our founding fathers believed, that there was a singular creator of humankind. You really can't argue that. You really can't. When you look at our nation and our history, our founding fathers were very influenced by Christianity. No, I'm not saying you have to be a Christian. You have the right to be whatever you want. You have that right. My thing is, when you are going to sit there and teach history, you teach all history. You don't teach just the parts you want to hear. I mean, a lot of people, I actually brought this up, people at my job, other fellow associates, a lot of them did not know about this. There was a document called the Mayflower Compact. Now, I'm sure a lot of you probably did not hear about this either. I'm going to look up right now, Mayflower Compact. And I am going to read a few lines off the Mayflower Compact for you, if it loads. I must be on the wrong Wi-Fi here. Anyways, while that's loading, hopefully it will load fast. I mean, I've been to the House of Representatives. I've been there. I've been in the House, on the floor of the House of Representatives. I can tell you for a fact that it says, "In God we trust," right above the speaker's head and right diagonally positioned across from the speaker is a bust of Moses. Now, why would atheists put a bust of a guy who got laws from God in a place where they meet? That doesn't really sound right to me that atheists would do this.
It's a constitution.
Okay.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to do, ordain, and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Okay, there you go. So read that one more time, please.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Okay.
And then it goes on for each section of the actual Constitution. Can I read on?
Sure.
All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors, the most numerous branch of the state legislature.
Okay. I mean, let's not bore them to death. That's we don't want to do. But I mean, I'm sure there's something about religion in there. I know in the compact there is. In the Mayflower Compact, what Puritans signed with the other people on the Mayflower, something that they decided and they agreed that they would sign and live by this rule. Actually, I'll give you the actual background. It just came up. Let's see. So, Mayflower Compact. The Mayflower Compact was a set of rules for self-governance established by the English settlers who traveled to New World on the Mayflower. When Pilgrims and other settlers set out on the ship for America in 1620, they intended to lay anchor in northern Virginia. Let's see, go on, I don't need all that. Here we go. Well, I'll just read on. But after treacherous shoals and storms drove their ship off course, the settlers landed in Massachusetts instead near Cape Cod outside of Virginia's jurisdiction. Knowing life without laws could prove catastrophic. Colonist leaders created the Mayflower Compact to ensure a functioning social structure would prevail. So, this is something that people actually did. Read that.
The U.S. Constitution never explicitly mentions God or the divine, but the same cannot be said of the nation's state constitutions. In fact, God or the divine is mentioned at least once in each of the 50 state constitutions and nearly 200 times overall, according to a Pew Research Center analysis.
Okay, so in state constitutions, it mentions God. That's saying something for a bunch of people who did not want faith in the founding of our country. Why would they then put God in their constitutions? To me, that doesn't make sense. And I mean, Jake might be able to find the actual what the Mayflower Compact says. I'm actually having trouble finding it.
What are you looking at?
Mayflower Compact, what it actually says, because I can.
What does the Mayflower Compact? I can't talk. What does the Mayflower Compact actually say?
And the reason.
What? Wow. Does the compact actually say? Okay.
The reason I wanted to look that up is I don't want anyone to be able to say you're paraphrasing. I want to be able. Okay, can I see that?
That's what is it?
Okay.
What did it say?
Oh,
this is.
So let me. So it said, "In the name of God, Amen. We whose name are underwritten, the loyal subjects of our dread sovereign Lord King James, by the grace of God of England, France, and Ireland King, defender of the faith, having undertaken for the glory of God and the advancement of the Christian faith, and the honor of our king and country, a voyage to plant the first colony in the northern parts of Virginia, do by these present solemnly and mutually in the presence of God and one of another, covenant and combine ourselves together in a civil body
Politic.
for our better ordering and preservation and furtherance of the ends. So, right there, if I go back a little bit, I mean, that's not the entire thing. I mean, things long, so if you actually want to read the entire thing, feel free. But what I want to mention is that towards the very start, they say they're doing this for the glory of God and the furtherance of the Christian faith. So you really can't argue that when that's an important document.
The original document is said to have been lost, but the writings in William Bradford's Journal of Plymouth Plantation and in Edward Winslow's Mort's Relation, a journal of the Pilgrims at Plymouth, are in agreement and accepted as accurate.
So, okay, so the original is lost, but with what we have, Jake just said, the writings in the journal and whoever else did that, the journal, these are pretty much what the Mayflower Compact
basically his
said.
friend also had.
Yeah.
He knew it as well.
A copy. So, with that, the Mayflower Compact actually says that they were taking this journey to further the glory of God and the Christian faith. You can't get any more blunt than that Christianity played a part in the making of our nation.
It says that we're equal.
Yeah.
When creating the Mayflower Compact, the signers believed that covenants were not only to be honored between God and man, but also between each other.
Okay. So again,
that's just a small bit.
Yeah, that's a small bit. A lot of our founding fathers were believers. Not only were they believers, they knew a lot more stuff than we know today. They knew biblical study. They knew theological study. They knew Latin. They knew Greek. That was common back then. If you didn't know that, you were considered dumb.
Historians, John Adams and many historians have referred to the Mayflower Compact as the foundation of the U.S. Constitution, written more than 150 years later.
Yeah. Yep.
So this was supposed to be the foundation of it.
Yeah. So for anyone to say that Christianity and God were not supposed to play a part in the founding.
If you guys want to check to see if we're wrong, just go to www.allabouthistory.org and it's the Mayflower Compact that you're looking for.
Yeah. But with this said, you can't argue that Christianity played a part in our heritage. Now again, I'm not saying you have to believe Christianity. I'm not trying to force my belief. But what I'm saying is this is something that we should be teaching in schools. We should not be leaving this out. Because let's face it,
they don't do Pledge Allegiance anymore.
Yeah, they don't. And as far as I know, actually, I will say, if you want more from just us and you want more proof, look up the movie Monumental by Kirk Cameron. I actually bought this movie when I was in Plymouth, and it deals with this entire thing. You know, we're taught that we're the worst country, that we came over here, we pillaged, we blah, blah, blah.
Not really.
Not all of us were. Puritans.
Not entirely did we pillage.
Yeah.
There were people who did, but not everybody.
Yeah. The Puritans who came here, the people who were leaving England for religious freedoms, they weren't coming to fight. They brought their kids and their wives.
I'm actually part of those people because I'm English.
There you go. They came and they settled. They were not pillaging. There's actually a point where two English people, Puritans, I guess, back in those days, or pilgrims, part of a group, they end up killing an Indian. The Indians figured we wouldn't tell the Americans or the English because they'll try and get their friend off. They wouldn't take us serious because we're Indians. You want to know what happened instead? Instead, the English hung both the people who killed this Indian to show them that you are equal to us. So we were not saying we're better than you. And that's what a lot of schools are teaching nowadays. They're leaving out important things that have to be taught.
And also, I like what a lot of people have been saying. Like, no matter your political power, you should be equal to like everybody else. If you did something wrong, you did something that's against the law, you should go to jail for it, no matter how high up you are.
Yeah. Yep.
We're all equals. Nobody's better than anybody.
Yeah. And the thing is, nowadays, people in our government, not all the people,
No.
Not all, but there are some people in our government who are not being held accountable for their actions. And they need to be. They need to be held accountable. You know who you are. If you see this, you know who you are.
Don't take it hard on us. You're not. You're equal.
Yeah, we're all humans. We all make mistakes. We all need to be corrected. No one's above the law. Why? Because the law is from God. The very law that we started this country with was a law from God.
You break that law, you pretty much die.
No
Not
one.
always, but...
Actually, I'm going to look one more thing up.
Depending. Actually, no, you never die. You never die. I wouldn't say that. I'll take that back.
Yeah.
But you will be held accountable until it is corrected.
So, in the movie that I mentioned,
and if it's not correct, the sooner it's not, if it's just not corrected at all, the worse it ends up being for you.
So, real quick. So, the thing I had mentioned, the movie, there's a part of that movie, and it gets into the monument to the forefathers. This is a statue in Plymouth, which I actually got to see when I was there. Sadly, I don't have pictures. My phone got destroyed. But the thing about this statue...
Did you fart on it?
No, I got wet. Yeah. I tried to dry it off by farting on it. Either way. So, the thing about this monument, which I found very interesting, is that you have the main statue. If you want to look up picture sign, I mean, they'll probably come out pretty grainy because it's like, yeah, it's on a phone, so they're probably...
You'd have to screen.
Yeah, they're not going to pick the photos up all that well.
No.
But in the statue, you have the main statue pointing up, signifying that you need truth. And truth comes from one source. And that source is God. And that with that truth, you can then govern yourselves internally. People have said that God does not care about government. God gave us 10 commandments.
Oh,
so we could...
If you guys see this, I mean, it's really just an item. You know?
Yeah.
This doesn't define my faith. I can take this off. I could throw it away. I really wouldn't care. It's
Yeah.
just an item.
Yeah.
My faith is what I believe in.
Yeah.
It's something. It's inside me. It's not something that can be taken away. That can be taken away, and I wouldn't care.
But yeah, like, so 10 Commandments, they were given to us for us to self-govern ourselves. God cared very much about government. God wanted us to be successful. And He gave us rules to do it with. Our founding fathers took the 10 Commandments and used them in basing our country's laws on. And someone I heard said, well, that's because any decent human would. No, not every decent human has. Not everyone who'd say they're a decent human did.
I'm not decent.
Just look at Adolf Hitler. He would claim he was decent, yet he did not base himself on same rules.
Well, we're partially decent. We're not decent, but we're not decent really compared to.
No, but I
mean,
mean,
we sin, so we're not really decent.
The other thing about
we're
the
all
monument,
sinners. The sooner you realize that you're a sinner, the better off you are.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to push our faith.
We don't push this on you, but
you believe what you want.
Yeah.
That's totally up to you.
My brother's not a believer, and I don't care.
I mean, you do care.
I care.
But you're not the enforcer.
No.
But the thing is, I hope this point's clear, that there's a lot of stuff about our country and about our nation that is not being taught. And that is a dangerous road. Because, in my opinion, you should give all areas of history a equal looking and let the individual decide, instead of saying you're going to teach this and you're going to leave this out. That's not accurate. And if you want more on this, in the movie I mentioned, Monumental, it gets into a bit about one of the privately owned museums of source documents from that time. And this will also be interesting to you. That, again, people say all our founding fathers were atheists. Well, in this museum, there is a Bible backed by our founding fathers to be distributed to the public. Why would atheists do that? They wouldn't, because that would be going against what an atheist would be trying to do. And I hope what you're taking away, I hope this, that beyond faith, as I've said, you can believe whatever you want. That's for you, and that's for God.
I just thought of this, but we're taking back to English and the Native Americans, but I'm both, so.
Yeah.
Technically, I should be fighting with myself, okay?
But, sure. But what I hope you're taking away is that there's a lot more in our history than is being taught. And that has an equal right to be looked at and be used in where our country is going. Because if we're taking out what we don't like, that makes you a dictator. If
I
you
hate
truly,
those dictators.
Yeah.
They're such dicks.
Yeah. If you truly are a historian, then you take all scope of history of whatever your subject is into view, being the parts you don't like and do like. And for those who claim atheism, I just want to make sure you understand what a true atheist is. A true atheist is someone who has taken years to study all faiths of the world, including Christianity, and through years and years of study, come to the conclusion that there is no God. And yet there are people here who say they're atheists, but they have not done that journey themselves.
They just say it.
And yet, as well, you have the hero of atheists, Darwin, or no. Is it Darwin?
I don't think so. Charles Darwin's more of a person who talks about animals and stuff.
No, who's the guy who's anti-Christ or anti-Christianity? There's a guy who atheists look up to. Dawkins, that's his name.
Who do atheists look up to?
Charles, or whatever his first name is, Dawkins. But there was a debate I saw between Dawkins and someone else named Lennox. And in this
Richard
debate...
Dawkins?
What?
Richard Dawkins. No, that can be Richard Dawkins.
Yeah, I believe it is.
That's Philosopher's Magazine, Richard Dawkins.
Yeah. But they had a debate on Christianity. Okay, get this. I love this. I was so pissed off watching this movie because I'm not a fan of debates. They irritate me. But one part really got me going. Dawkins was sitting here telling Lennox, his opponent, how dumb faith was. And that faith was pointless and stupid and pretty much really putting it down.
Well, if what faith is...
Hold on. I loved what Lennox said to that. He said, the very fact that you believe that wholeheartedly is an act of faith. And as soon as Dawkins heard that, he got shut down big time because he realized he just destroyed his own argument. Now, I'm not saying I'm well versed in history. I'm not. As we've shown you, a lot of stuff we're looking up on Google. If you want proof, go read for yourself documents of that time period. Do that. Do not.
Don't go on these subreddits or these other sites. Actually go with actual sites with actual history-based stuff.
Go to source documents. And whatever you do, if you are going to try and tell someone that they're wrong, you better have something to back up what you're saying instead of, oh, this is what this guy said. He has a PhD. I don't care about PhD.
It's just a piece of paper.
You want to know what a PhD is? A PhD is a piece of paper that humans came up with to tell other humans they're smart. So, in my opinion, yes. Now, I will admit, if you have a PhD, you've done work. I'll admit that.
Like a PhD in a doctor's degree or something.
I'll give you credit. But you, if you're going to argue, I want you to go look up everything you're going to talk about yourself. Not just take someone else's word. But go look up, like you saw. We were looking up constitutions. We were actually looking up the Mayflower Compact. And if there was something that I said that we didn't look up, I'm sorry.
You can look it up and
Yeah, you can look up yourself. But do not tell me that Christianity was not a part of our heritage when everything else that I am seeing when I look at our founding father documents is telling me otherwise. Because that is just not cool. And it needs to end. If you are going to sit there and debate with someone about how this country started, you better make sure you have facts to back up what you're saying.
And you also gotta remember, guys, we the people are more than the government.
Exactly.
There's more of us than there are them.
The government, not saying the government doesn't have a job, but like I said, the only job they do have is protecting our freedoms, not telling us what we can and cannot do. Actually, before we leave, I am going to try and find what I was trying to find earlier, the separation of church and state. Separation. And like I said, though, that was never actually in the Constitution. So, for all those who will use that as an argument, you might want to take that into consideration.
What? Separation of
church and state. So, here it is.
Church
So,
and state.
I'm going to read what I found here real quick. Sorry. So, okay.
I might have to Google this.
Separation of church and state is paraphrased from Thomas Jefferson and used by others in expressing an understanding of the intent and function of the Establishment Clause and Free Exercise Clause of the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, which reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. That is what I got when I Googled.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
There you go. There you go. I could not have said it any better. So, according to this, the government cannot use religion to make what they want happen. That's against the law. And they have to be held accountable to that. They do. So, I'm going to end it there. And as I said, I hope what you took away is that there's a lot more in our history of a country than we're being taught. And everything that is not being taught has the right to be looked at too. And has the right to be used in determining where our country goes. I'm not saying you have to believe in Christianity. I mean, heck, there were founding fathers who didn't. I'll admit that there were some who didn't, but there were others who did. And when you use the argument of our founding fathers being atheists, and you use two, Jefferson and Washington, that's two out of how many signed the Constitution and Declaration? Lots. So you have to take into consideration their views as well.
I don't remember how many signed it. That was quite a bit.
A lot, yeah. Well, let's look that up real quick. See, we are having so much fun.
That's why I hate Google. It doesn't like to listen half the time. How many presidents signed the Constitution?
According to Constitution facts, George Washington and James Madison were the only presidents who signed the Constitution. In November of 1788, the Congress of the Confederation adjourned and left the United States without a central government until April 1789.
Should have said how many people, not presidents.
How many people signed the Constitution? According to History, Art and Archives, House.gov, a total of 39 delegates signed the Constitution on September 17, 1787.
So 39 people signed it. And yet when I hear people say our founding fathers were atheists, I hear about 2. That leaves a total of 37 you're not considering. And that's not right. So I hope what you got from this, and if I made anyone angry,
Tough.
Tough, but I am sorry. My goal was not to anger you. Maybe it was. I don't know.
I'm actually sorry that you're so oblivious to the fact.
Yeah, that's what I really am sorry to. That you've allowed facts to be thrown out the window for what you want. You know, there's a lot more to our nation than a lot of people actually know. And that is scary because that means our government can make our country whatever they want.
As long as we stick to our history, government can't do much to us.
Exactly. So
they start taking away a lot of our stuff. That's when we need to push back.
Yeah. And like
we need to start pushing back now.
Well, like I said earlier, the government should be more afraid of its people than the people of its government. And I'm tired of watching government. I mean, heck, look at all the colleges, the well-known colleges in America. Did you know for a fact that they all started as Christian colleges? Yes, every college, Harvard, started as a Christian college. That should say something.
Sorry, I had to laugh at that one.
At that time. That should say something.
It's just the way you said it.
Harvard started that way. And yet there are people who are trying to deny that and say we don't want that anymore. That's not only wrong, but that's dumb. Because you're taking away the freedom to express thoughts and let people make of it what they will. And I'm not for that. I'm for giving people everything and letting them decide what to do with it.
As God did for us.
And if that means they go another way, that's fine. They have that right.
God did the same thing for us. He gave us all everything we needed.
Yep.
And he basically just said, do whatever you wish.
I've also heard people say, if God's so good, why do bad things happen? Well, it happens because we happened.
We made the mistake.
Yeah, we ate the fruit. We were told not to eat. We made sin enter our world.
If we hadn't done that, none of this would have happened.
Yeah. So, just make sure you're doing your research. And if you want, we'll continue this. You know, if you leave a comment saying this was cool. Now, I already know I'm probably going to get lots of comments saying oh, how dare you say that about government, blah, blah, blah. I disagree. I hate you. I don't care about all that. I mean, you saying you disagree, that's your
How
right.
dare you do this? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
That's your right. You have every right to say that.
That's freedom of speech. I mean,
So, but if I get enough people saying they like this and want me to do a little bit more research into this, I will be happy to do that. I will love to do that. Ever since I've learned a lot of this stuff, I've become more fascinated with the actual history of our country. I'll be happy to. But first, you have to like, you have to subscribe.
you have to like,
you have to comment.
you have to comment, you got to subscribe.
Or in that order.
It's that order always.
Okay.
It's always the like button first, because then the comment's pretty much down below.
Yep.
But then also subscribe is right next to it, right above it.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, do it in that order.
Just hit the little like button right down below the video. Hitting that subscribe button. Make sure that bell notification icon is on, and then comment down below if you want us to do more.
Now, what's your channel logo?
Me. It's this face.
Okay, it's this face. Because I did another video, which you probably saw apologizing that last Sunday.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
That was...
So as I said in my last video, you just go to his page to see our last video because it's on his page.
Don't you
So-
shake that finger at me.
I'll shove at you all I want.
I said shake it. Shake that finger.
But it's on his page, Jacob Chapin. You're looking for this mug. That face.
And government, if you're coming after us, you're getting another thing coming. That's a promise.
Yes. I mean, I am wearing my kilt too. So, yes. I wear a kilt. Yes, I am a Scotsman. I'll get up on the couch.
No, please don't.
Yes, I am Scotsman.
Yeah,
Yes, I am a Scotsman. I mean, I'm not fully Scottish.
I'm not either. I'm Irish and Scottish, so...
Probably more English, German.
I'm mostly German.
Yeah.
I'm a full quarter German, so...
I'm not full Scottish, but I do love the Scot heritage, the Scot history. And let's face it, kilts are making one heck of a comeback. I mean, they have kilts for everything. So, that's
So
a...
smash that like button.
Yes.
Comment
smash
down
it.
below and please subscribe.
Yep. Please.
Sorry about shaking that camera, guys.
That's
Sorry if I made you a little sick. You know.
Yeah. So, I hope you liked our video, and please give us your feedback. Adios.
Bye-bye.